All right, guys, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. Today, the episode of the podcast / vlog is going to be a little different. I actually just fixed some stuff on the truck, so I'm going to take you along with me on a little drive to test everything out. So, come along. All Things Overlanding is brought to you by some fantastic companies. You should definitely check out the description and click through their links to see all the awesome stuff they offer. Companies like Red Arc for all your overlanding power management needs. Last US Bag, tons of amazing quality overlanding bags. Rugged Bound Supply Company, rooftop tents, awnings, roof racks, and more. The MOORE Expo 2022, get your tickets below. And Northology Overland, guided overlanding trips and a free overlanding magazine. All right, guys, so on today's episode of the podcast / vlog, I am taking a little spin in the truck. I just fixed a couple of things, and I want to make sure that everything is running okay, that I don't have any lights or anything on. And I also wanted to kind of do, it's almost like one of those, you see those channels where they do like an unveiling or like a, this is the new direction of the channel. That's kind of what this episode's going to be about. Nothing bad, nothing's going away. If anything, things are going to improve. I have some ideas, and I want to kind of talk through those with you guys. I want to give, especially those of you that follow along and listen to the podcast really frequently or watch the YouTube videos, I kind of want to give you guys sort of like a sneak peek, a preview of what I'm thinking for the channel. So, as you may or may not know, I recently got back from MOORE Expo, which is like an awesome overlanding event in Springfield, Missouri. It takes place every year. It's run by my good friend Chris Holloway, who does just awesome events, right? These things are amazing. There's tons of vendors, there's tons of manufacturers, there's tons of distributors and things like that. There were lots of YouTubers. They had this cool thing called the Storytellers section this year. And so where I'm going with this, though, is I got to see all kinds of different people that make content. I got to see all kinds of different manufacturers, different marketing tactics, right? All kinds of different things that are interesting to me as someone with a background in marketing and that sort of thing. But what it really did for me was it inspired me. Okay, so the more that I think about the channel, the more that I think about the content that I make for you guys, the more that I think about overlanding and how I want to sort of tell the story of like the type of overlanding I do and the gear that I use in overlanding and what I've learned about overlanding, right, is I want to continue to do a better and better job. And what was really eye-opening for me and what kind of inspired me was that, I got to see a lot of other YouTube content creators and just content creators in general and the way that they're sort of doing their content. And life-changing, right? Like some of these guys and girls are just amazing. Like they blow my mind with how good they are, how creative they are. And it kind of inspired me, right? Like it kind of made me think, you know what? A lot of people say about my channel, hey, you've got it down, you're putting out a couple videos a week, you're very consistent, which I like that. I am sort of OCD, so it does make me feel a little bit better to know that I can consistently put out content. But part of the way that I got to where I could do that so, consistently is that I sacrificed on quality, I feel like, right? Nothing, not to say that anything's bad, and I'm always trying my hardest, right? But part of the way that I do that is I'm very formulaic, right? Like I have a formula for how I shoot stuff. I have a formula for how I, show my video. I have a formula for how I sort of present the information. But so a lot of the times I feel like that sort of, formula-based process for making videos and stuff gets really sort of stale, right? It gets kind of boring. And that's one thing that I never wanted the channel to be. I never ever wanted the channel to be boring or to not be exciting for you guys. I want to still give you the same sort of great, content, and I want to get you guys excited about the content and everything. But what I don't want to do is I don't want it to become like a slog, right? Like I don't want it to be like, oh, here we go again. It's another gear review, right? I do a lot of gear reviews because I love gear. There's no like hidden motives behind it or anything like that. I do gear reviews because people search for it, right? Like being honest, people look for and search for types of gear. And so if you make a video about it, then people find that. And that is one thing I want success for the channel, right? I want to reach more people. I want to grow the channel. I would love to grow this into a thing that someday maybe I could do full time, right? Like maybe someday I could, just be a YouTuber. Like that would be fine. I would be perfectly fine with that. That sounds awesome. Because what that means is I can take more trips. I can shoot more videos. I can edit more videos. I can interview more people. I can connect with more companies, right? And provide value for them and value for you guys, the listeners and the watchers. So anyways, so where I'm going with this again is there are going to be some changes coming for the channel, and some of those are going to be an improvement in quality and creativity. So for those of you that don't really know me well or haven't known me as long as, some of maybe like my high school friends and maybe college friends and things like that, I'm a ham, man. I mean, obviously I have a YouTube channel, right? Like, I'm not bad at talking. I can talk and talk and talk for half an hour easy every single day if I wanted to and record it. But with that formulaic sort of repetitive approach that I've started to take with a lot of my videos, it's really easy to pump out videos, but I don't enjoy them, right? Like, and again, I'm not saying that any of the videos are bad. I'm not trying to poo-poo on my channel, but I'm just saying I can do a lot better, right? Like, I am very creative. I like to sort of be different than everyone else, hence why I drive a Nissan instead of a Toyota or a Jeep. Like, I like to do stuff that differentiates me from other people, one way or another, whether it's in content creation, whether it's in the vehicle that I drive, whether it's in the clothes that I wear, whatever, right? Like, I like to be unique. So, again, I want to get more of my personality into these videos. Like, my personality is comedy. I love making jokes. I'm a dad. I do dad jokes all the time, puns. I am constantly cracking jokes. If you've ever hung out with me around a campfire, you know that. But on the YouTube channel, I feel like a lot of it comes across as like, hey, it's Fletch, All Things Overlanding here. Today we're talking about XYZ, and I'm going to tell you the pros and the cons and what I think about it, right? And that's what all of the gear reviews have become. And I love the podcast too. Like, I actually really like the podcast a lot more than I like some of the gear reviews and stuff that I do, because at least in the podcast, it's like, yes, it's talking head, and there's not a ton of B-roll or like, for those of you that don't make videos, a ton of that like video of the truck going over obstacles and things like that. But it's intended to be more of like a, just like a chat, like a one-on-one sort of chat that can come across well on a podcast, or, if you're watching it on YouTube, can come across well there too. That won't change. That'll stay the same. I like that style a lot more than I like the interview style. So, I've had a lot of like companies ask me recently, can like my CEO come on your podcast? And I totally understand their motivations, and I get that that's a good marketing opportunity and that the podcast has a lot of listeners and stuff, and that's great. But again, I want to provide you guys with value. Like, that's my goal. And the interview style stuff, it isn't really that interesting, I don't think. Like, I like the collaborative stuff, so I'm not going to stop doing that. Like the stuff that I've done with Venture to Roam, other, content creators, where we do like a two-person sort of like talk back and forth about a type of gear or a type of trip, or, tread lightly or whatever that may be. That stuff won't change. But I'm kind of shying away from just doing interviews for interview's sake, right? So you'll notice that. You probably already noticed that, because it's been actually a pretty long while since I just did a pure interview with anybody. But just so you guys know, that's kind of the direction that I'm taking with the podcast and the vlogs, is more informational, more like beginner type stuff, stuff that I've learned as I've gone along. Sometimes talking about gear and stuff, sometimes talking about, when to use four-wheel drive high versus four-wheel drive low, informational type of topics. That's kind of my goal. So again, that is going to be kind of the focus with the podcast and stuff. But then that second video every week, right? The video that I do that is about, a piece of gear or a modification that I've made to my truck or something like that. When I make those videos, I want them to be cool. I want them to be fun. I want them to have multiple angles, right? I want to be able to go back and forth from one camera to the other so that it's visually interesting for you guys. And I want to be more creative with them. So, again, I got inspired. I know this is kind of a weird episode to sort of talk about the direction of the channel, but I thought that, especially those of you that listen really frequently would get a kick out of this, kind of hearing what's kind of coming, in the future. And I want you guys to know, too, that I'm extremely dedicated to the channel. I'm extremely dedicated to improving the content. I love doing this. Like I said, I want to do this full time because I just think it's so fun connecting with you guys. That was one of the best parts of the MOORE Expo this year was, I spent a lot of time talking to subscribers, talking to podcast listeners, things like that. And it was so fun. Like, that's what I get a kick out of, is when people come up to me and they say stuff like, hey, I just watched your episode about XYZ and it really got me excited to do this. Or, hey, I learned this from your last podcast and I really appreciate you putting that together. Or, hey, I joined the Newbie Overlanders group and it's so great because it's totally different from those big, huge groups, where people just kind of poop all over you constantly. That's the kind of stuff that I like. That's the kind of stuff that I'm going for with the podcast, with the vlog. So anyways, I just wanted to update you guys and let you know that that's kind of where things are going. a continued focus on improvement, a continued focus on better and better quality. So again, for those of you that have stuck around, I really appreciate it. I am going to try and grow the channel as much as possible. I'm going to try and do more of those collaboration type videos because, you know, from the majority of you guys, I've heard tons of good things, and they're fun, right? They're super fun. I mean, I'm one guy, and I'm happy to give you my sort of learnings and the things that I like and the pieces of gear that I use, but it's even more valuable to get other voices involved and sort of spread it out, give you different takes on it, right? So there will definitely be more collaboration videos coming in the future too. So anyways, but that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about this weekend. I wanted to kind of keep it short and just kind of give you an update as far as what's coming. So be on the lookout for that, and post up in the comments, right? When you guys watch the videos, again, those of you that have been around or watched quite a few of the videos, I love hearing from you guys. So if you see something like multiple camera angles, or, you know, and you're like, oh, that was cool, or oh, I really like that, or if you like a specific type of video, if you see a collab video and you like it, post up in the comments on YouTube. That's hugely helpful. It tells YouTube, like, hey, people like this video, and it also tells me, hey, make more of these videos, right? It's like a vote for a specific type of content. So anyways, thank you guys. Thank you as always. You know, I do this for you guys. I started it selfishly a couple years ago just to kind of record trips and stuff, and to see if I could learn to edit videos and see if I could learn to create content. And now I've kind of gotten to the point where I feel like I can create content, but now I want to make it really good. But it's because of all you guys, right? Like, if you guys had just crapped on me all the time and said how terrible I was at this stuff, I probably wouldn't still be doing it. But there's been so many friendships formed, so many awesome memories made, and I just love the impact that it's having on new overlanders and things like that. So again, thank you guys for everything, and keep watching, keep listening, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and post up in the comments below. But so thanks again. Check out the description below for links to Facebook, Instagram, that Newbie Overlanders group that I mentioned. We've got a Patreon page too if you want to come support over there. I'd love to have you. We have a Discord, so we all kind of can chat 24/7, which is cool. But again, I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'd love to see more of you in the comments. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.